Joining us from LA, Aaron Cohen is founder of Cherry's Counter-Terror, specializing in training law enforcement in violent situations. Can you explain why we don't know what happened at the Waffle House in Indianapolis and the Kansas City parade? Can you tell me why we don't know what happened after all this time?
I think it's exactly what you're leading into, Bill, which is that we've got political restraints being put on the ability to be able to deduce exactly who was behind the crime. I believe this was gang related, which means that it's potentially black on black. It's a high possibility it was black on black. The Midwest, Bill, has been in a gang war that's been developing for the last 20 years. So we look at Kansas City. Kansas City, straight up, you had two black miners, black on black, opening fire at each other at this monster parade celebrating the Super Bowl. My question was, where was the security, given the height of all the domestic threats that are coming in from all over the world, from Iran to domestic terrorism here with the active shooters that are popping up. Where we're at in 2024, intelligence and information, regardless of who are committing these crimes, that information needs to be released. It needs to be streamlined, and there can be no politics involved whatsoever. Otherwise, like you said, you're never going to get to the root of the problem. You're not going to get more patrol on the streets. You're not going to get these gang task force funded with more money, which they need, not just in Kansas City, Bill, in Chicago. They just wrapped up a 6-year investigation. Again, gang on gang, South Side and West Side Chicago. A monster gang problem over the last 20 years. It's been growing and growing. The problem is these liberal cities aren't being honest about it. And what it's doing is it's affecting the frontline patrol and police officers' ability to be able to deal with it head on. And you cannot politic when it comes to crime, especially with this expanding gang problem.
They are, and there's nobody except me reporting it. I don't know anybody else reporting this story this way. Now, some stats. African Americans comprise 13% of the American population. 2022, 52% of all homicides in the country were committed by African Americans. Okay? 56% of murder victims, African American. Again, 13% of the population. So you're just basically letting this, as you said, letting this go. There's no will to confront it at all. But if that Waffle House, that had been a white guy shooting that poor black woman, it would be everywhere in this country. Is that racism?
Well, it's certainly a form of placism. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. You're sort of nailing it. Again, if you're not honest about what it is that you're seeing with that shooting in Kansas City and with the shooting at the Waffle House, then you're unable to directly confront that threat head on, which is violent crime.
Absolutely.
And you just read that.
And it's worse than that. One of the ways that New York City confronted violent crime that worked under Giuliani and Bloomberg, the mayors, was stop and frisk. Because the cops know in their beats, in their precincts, who the gang guys are. Everybody knows that because they have tattoos, they run around, everybody knows. So they would stop them, frisk them, and find a lot of guns and then prosecute them on gun crimes. But stop and frisk, gone. So after that left, the rise in violent gangs doubled or tripled, and so did the violent crime. But there is no movement to bring back stop and frisk. Now, as a counterterrorism expert, do you believe in stop and frisk?
Not only do I believe in it, but it's one of the critical layers of preventative measures that law enforcement needs. Look, Bill, just because I come from the counterterrorist space, let me be clear. I spent the last 15 years working as a deputy for a sheriff's agency on the East Coast, a nice-sized sheriff's agency, where I trained that agency in counterterrorism, but also active shooter response, which is that highest threat of response to violence. And what we saw in Kansas City was an active shooter. The fact that it was black on black, or the fact that it was crime related or gang related, which is drug related, you still have the same effect at the end, the same violent outcome. Stop and frisk is critical.
It terrorizes the community. I just want to be clear. We don't know yet if these minors were members of gangs or if they're black. We heavily suspect that is the case, but we don't know. And I want everybody to understand it. Final question for you. When you put ethnicity, skin color, equity, whatever it may be, over honesty, then you have danger, public safety danger. That's my opinion. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You have to be brutally honest about shaping a mosaic to be able to look at the threat so that you can develop policies and procedures, Bill, to be able to combat those threats in order to protect these communities. That's the bottom line. I agree with you 100%. Law enforcement has the capability, but to be able to really do the job, the way Giuliani did it, he was very effective. Stop and frisk is a must. And being honest about the genesis of those threats, to be able to categorize those gangs, to be able to look at that as a drug problem, the Mexican Sinaloa cartels with their fentanyl, with their crack cocaine coming up from the south, all of that gets distributed by these baseline gang members, and that has to be looked at honestly. Otherwise, you're going to have another decaying gang city, and the problem with that is it's going to spill over. And it's just going to get worse and more dangerous.
Innocent people are getting killed now like crazy, and neighborhoods are being terrorized and destroyed. I don't know of anybody doing this. I don't know of anybody in the country. I don't know any governor, any mayor, anybody trying to get this under control. Mr. Cohen, thanks very much. We appreciate your time. Are you tired of feeling like a soggy sack of potatoes? Wow. I may just have the solution for you. Native Path Collagen. It's like a secret weapon for your body. Their collagen is packed with all the essential amino acids your body needs to build and repair your muscles, joints, and even regrow cartilage. Say goodbye to bone-on-bone pain. Just a scoop a day of this magic powder mixed into your favorite beverage or recipe, and you'll be on your way to stronger bones, healthier joints, and glowing skin that will really impress you. Please visit nativepath.com right now. Grab yourself a tub of this collagen goodness. Trust me, you will thank me. Simply visit getnativepath.com/Bill for up to 45% off today. All right, now this story got a lot of play last night in the news precincts. 33-year-old Kasina Karolina, dual Russian and U.S. citizen, ballerina, okay, donates $50 to a Ukrainian charity. She is arrested, all right, and charged with crimes against the state of Russia for helping Ukraine. Now, we don't know where she is, but believe me, wherever she is, it's not a nice place. So this raises the specter in my mind. What were you doing in Russia? Why would any American citizen be in Russia? Why? Because they'll pick you off. Even the media people, I mean, they're really brave. Get the Wall Street Journal guy in prison now for more than a year. If Putin wants you arrested, you're going to get arrested. It's like New York State. If Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, wants you arrested, you're going to get arrested. You'll find something. It's Putin. So I'm not making light of this, and I feel sorry for this young woman. I do. But she's hosed. How are they going to get her out? Putin's not listening to anybody. Do what he wants. So I wrote a message of the day on this. And again, BillO'Reilly.com, every morning we have a message of the day. You don't have to be a member of anything. Go in there and you can read it. And I hope you do. So the message says there are certain countries in the world where Americans, if you go, you're out of your blanking mind. And I name them. A bunch of countries in Africa. Okay, if you're going to Somalia, you're asking to be killed, for example. Okay, that's not in Africa, but it's right across from Africa. Chad, all right? I mean, on and on in Africa. Burma. They call it Myanmar now, but it's Burma. You go there, Haiti. Go to Haiti, no protections, none. I've been to Haiti twice. I got caught up in the Aristide Revolution there. North Korea, you all know that. Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, all right? You go to those countries, they can do whatever they want to you, and nobody's going to help you. But here's the kicker on it. I won't go to Mexico, and thousands of American students are going to spring break in Mexico. There were 2 American women killed there recently in Mexico. One OD'd on fentanyl. She had a death wish. If you go to Mexico and take fentanyl, you want to die. And the other was caught in a crossfire in the Cancun area, Playa del Carmen, south. So why would you go to Mexico? If you get in trouble there, get intoxicated, whatever, nobody going to help you. Nobody. Why would you go there? Either go to USA or the Caribbean or Hawaii or whatever, but thousands of people. Now, what's wrong with their parents? My God. Now, there are places in the United States I will not go. Oakland, San Francisco, right across the bay, south side of Chicago, 9th Ward in New Orleans. Not going there. Now, I went through the Bronx the other day, South Bronx, very tough. Okay, but I was in a car. I didn't get out of the car. Now, this is coming from a guy who faced violence in El Salvador, Argentina during the Falklands War, Northern Ireland, and Haiti. I'm not afraid. I'm just not stupid. I know what these countries are. You go there, and anything happens to you. You rent a car in Mexico. Say you go to Cancun. It's beautiful beaches there. And say you rent a car, and you get a flat. You're screwed. They see that? Those cartel people, those thugs down there? Sorting through your expense tracking, estimated payments, and all those tax deductions can be overwhelming. It might even lead to a failure to file and failure to pay penalties that pile up on your tax debt. The attorneys at Tax Network USA have been lifesavers for many. Their team has successfully saved clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you're in the hole for $10,000 or starting at a $10 million debt, they are ready to help you. The expert attorneys and tax professionals at Tax Network USA are equipped to secure the best settlement for you and help you resolve all tax cases. So please go to tnusa.com/bill, or you can call 1-800-245-6000. These tax debt relief programs are expected to change, so get to them now. Visit tnusa.com/bill or call 800-245-6000. Tell them O'Reilly sent you. Our freedoms should never be taken for granted. They must be cherished, protected, and defended. When corporations pander to the liberal agenda, they must be punished. When corporations stand up for conservative values, they should be supported. This brings me to Freedom 2.0, the bottled water company that proudly represents us. They have hilarious sayings on each bottle like, "This water ain't woke," and "bottled with liberal tears." Use the code BILL for a 15% discount and subscribe to Freedom 2.0. We must never discount freedom, but we can discount water as long as you use the code BILL. Please visit freedom20.com to order now. That's freedom, the number 2, the letter O.com. freedom20.com. Use code BILL for 15% off. Smart life. Okay. So, abuse of power. What is troubling me as an American, not as a journalist or anything like that, but as an American, is now in our current state here of this country, there are places like California, New York, Illinois, and other states, Washington State. Oregon is actually snapping back a little because anarchy there has reached such a high level. There are places that you cannot get justice, states that you can't get it because the politics is intertwined with the district attorney, the attorney general, all of that. This Trump thing never should have been brought. And I'm not saying this because I know Trump or anything like that. I wouldn't care if it was Biden. If they were doing this to Biden, I'd say the same thing. All right? They are trying to ruin people in the political arena with whom they disagree by using statutes, criminal and civil statutes. You can't do that. Now, how do you put an end to it? Because the voters here in New York, where I am, they continue to vote for liberal people. And in California, it's gone. It's never coming back. Illinois is gone because of Chicago. So I'm watching this country, not everywhere. I mean, pretty soon it's going to be traditional conservative people are going to move to these states, liberal people are going to stay in these states. But it's not like, we can pursue happiness on an equal basis in every state. Because the civil and criminal justice systems have fallen apart under the weight of corruption. Fani Willis is corrupt. She's corrupt. She doesn't have any business prosecuting this case. You don't do that. I don't believe for a second she reimbursed the boyfriend. Not for a second. Oh, he gave him cash. Oh, bull. I could be wrong, I guess, but I don't think so. Anyway, smart life is this. If you're in a position where you're surrounded by corruption, you got to get out. You got to go. Now, you say, hey, O'Reilly, you're staying in New York. It's true. Because I got family, I got business, I got tradition, I got a million things. Now, Hannity, who lived 10 miles away from me, he's out. He's gone. Because it's a different situation for him. Both family-wise and his kids are out of state. My kids are not. So I'm not being a hypocrite, but I am saying to you, if you are in a position where you think you're oppressed and you think if something happens to you, you're not going to get a fair shot, get out. Big country. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.